But what we're seeing such a huge shift is ultimately these people are annoying. Like if we remove all of like the politics about it and like people being evil and whatever, if you just look at them at their core, they are very annoying people. Like they are super annoying. I think people are finally looking past all the but it's woke, DEI, whatever. We still have a ways to go, but not a lot of people are seeing that these people are just fucking annoying. Like they are no different than when they used to make fun of the SJWs. They are in fact worse than them. Where was it? Oh, here we go. I'm gonna have to set this up though. I know I'm just yapping right now. I'm sorry, but all right. First off, I'm gonna just let old me play this. Do this little quick video while I get some water. Men are naturally more attractive than women on average. That's why women need makeup. This isn't me being gay, it's science. Look at Peacock, our cardinal, male versus female, females get mogged. Greek statues dedicated to the peak aesthetic form, overwhelmingly men. This is you being gay. I don't know. I don't know how else to put that. Like that's and first off, the fact that you're using like animals like peacocks and shit, you are the living embodiment of you being wrong about this, just so you know. Like, just so you know. This is not me being gay. This is being gay. Like this is oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. Just fucking yeah. Like look at what you're responding to. Like, yeah. Yeah, dude, this is you being gay. This is unprompted. Like no one asked you to do this. You're just like men are hotter than women. Not gay though. It's just science. Men are just naturally more attractive than women. It's not me being gay. I'm not into men. It's just that's just what it is though. That's just what it is. That's it's the science. You know how much I love science. I just love science so much that I had to mention this particularly in regards to male attraction and how I think they're hotter than women, but I'm not gay. I'm just speaking the science. Fucking self-report. Hey man, it's Pride Month next month. You don't gotta hide, dog. You don't gotta hide. There's all that, right? And before I get into deeper things, let's just go through the comments. Because people love to accuse me of being disingenuous. And I actually went into a back and forth earlier today with one of the commenters. But here's the thing, right? It's like, oh, so appreciating male body is now game, and I think he's gonna say gay, and something to be ashamed for it. Make it make sense, bruh. And it's like, is that what I did? Is that what he said? Is that what he said? Did he say, oh, that men are attractive? Or did he say that the males are more attractive because they don't need makeup? But it's like, we get it, dude. You want Asmon inside of you. It's so funny to me. It's so funny to me that these guys will be like, oh, we get it. You're in love with him. You're in love with him. You're in love with him. And I'm like, he himself just said that he thinks men are more attractive than women, right? Which I'm being a little, whatever. I'm obviously I don't care if he was gay or not, but like, we're having a little fun here. And then everyone's like, oh, you're deflecting the point and misread. And it's like, they cannot help but just make it worse. It's weird how if non-woke people glaze men in any way, woke people will gay shame them like this 90s high school bully. Yeah, dude, that's what I did. That's what I did. Since when did we start using gay as insult again? Also, you don't understand what on average means. Him being an ugly cunt doesn't mean anything for the average. Yes, it does, because it's the wrong messenger. Like, it's so funny, dude. It's so funny. Like, I'm sure that excites you. Stop slur shaming. This is misogyny, and I'm like, here we go. This is what I'm talking about. Just an ugly Negro talking. If that's all you got, and this is your response to what Asmon posted, you're probably dumb enough to eat your own shit. What the fuck? Ugly? Yes. Should you call him Negro? No, bro. That just makes you look dumb as fuck to those of us that hate him. You're alienating yourself from the rest of us who agree with you. So I have a contingent of people who hate me, which is funny to shit to me. But to be like, me ugly. They're talking about Asmongold. They're defending Asmongold and trying to call me ugly. It's like, come on, man. Come on, man. Like, if you're gonna make insults, at least make them good or believable. At least make it good or believable. And so one of the back and forths I was having was with what I said. I said, here we go. Here we go, right? So I couldn't imagine being an Asmongold defender, tying so much of your identity to you go on small accounts, aka my accounts, posts just to shout slurs to protect your parasocial relationship with a disgusting human being, truly seek therapy. Nobody has ever had a valid argument against him, though. They always fall back to insulting his appearance. And I said, that's bullshit. You losers just ignore that because you attach yourselves to him, because it's true, which is why he didn't respond to my comment. He responded to someone else's comment. But then I took his comment and I responded to it. And I said, he says, he has a point in general. The incredible amount of makeup everyone wears these days is deceiving as hell. Both genders can be naturally beautiful, but only one gender hides their imperfections with makeup. And so I go, no, he doesn't. The reason why women wear makeup is because of men. It is the society we've created. Women don't wear makeup. We automatically say mean shit about them, even though on average, women do look better than men. Like, what are we doing? Only one side cakes themselves in makeup. Maybe it's because one side realizes that makeup won't change how your partner feels when you're natural. I do agree that most women have more natural beauty, but they hide it behind layers of chemicals. They hide it because they are expected to. This is like saying women hate body hair and not looking at the society in which specifically punishes women for that. Asmon's logic was that because Greek statues focused on men, that means men are naturally more attractive, which ignores like literally every societal norm at the time, and I could just as easily show art from ancient Egypt or a multitude of cultures which focus on women, making his argument one of selective bias and not indicative of anything close to what he said. And we aren't really acknowledging the fact that he said that they are more attractive, which is a subjective call, which is why I said what I said. He finds males more attractive than women and is trying to use made-up science to bolster his opinion. Then he goes, so everything I said, he goes, you're being disingenuous. You can recognize that a male is attractive as a male without being gay, just like women do. No, I'm not. He didn't say that they're attractive. He said they're more attractive and then tried to say it's just science. Like, if you're the one, like, if you are the one trying so hard to make it seem like people are making shit up, you are being disingenuous. Most males find female coded makeup as unappealing. Do you see how this went from my video, my little making fun of Asmongold, which is fun to do, but do you see how it went from that to I'm being disingenuous because most men find women coded and makeup as unappealing? Even though I specifically explained that our society has expectations of women to look a certain way, which is why makeup's been pushed primarily on them, it now becomes this. Because that's why they always say this shit. They go, no one ever has a valid argument. Because if you give them argumentation like this, they'll just go, oh, you're being disingenuous. Oh, you're being disingenuous. That's it. Like, there is no valid argument to these people because they do not engage in actual argumentation. Like, that's just, yes, it just boils down to semantics. Like, well, you don't, and I was being patient with that person. I explained in detail. This is where his logic fails. He's saying that because ancient Greeks, which I didn't even touch about the fact that they always use ancient Greek, ancient Rome as some high point society, which is very Western centric, right? Western Eurocentric, but still, they always use that as some kind of talking point. And I countered that by just saying I could look at other cultures and see their focus on women. So his point's moot. So if we disregard that point, what he's saying is he finds males to be more attractive than females. And then tries to justify it by saying because women wear makeup. And so when I break that point and say that women wear makeup because society punishes them in a multitude of ways for not doing that, and I bring up the example like saying, that's like saying women like shaving because our society punishes them for not doing that, to highlight that you're ignoring societal pressures. It suddenly becomes, well, men find makeup unappealing. Well, according to Asmongold, that doesn't matter. So which is it? Is it women are less attracted to men because they wear makeup, or is it women are unappealing because they wear makeup? Like, because one instance is saying that women look more attractive, but they have to use makeup to do so. But what you're saying is women are less appealing, and also this is a heterocentric viewpoint. You're not even looking at other people who are also interested, which is why I didn't frame my thing that way. But again, if you try to get into any sort of logical discussion with them, they fucking fall apart. It's crazy. People don't read, they just want to be right. Exactly. Exactly. They have no argument or defense. They just want to hate and blindly give ads when they don't know what to think. His brain probably couldn't cover who you're saying. More male statues mean more men are powerful, not the more. Exactly. That's why I said they hide it because they're expected to. This is like saying women hate body hair and not looking at society, which specifically punishes them for that. Asmon's logic was that because Greek statues focus on men, that means that men are naturally more attractive, which ignores like literally every societal norm at the time. That's why I said that. I'm like, because it doesn't factor in anything. And also, what was attractive back then is not consistent with what we find attractive now. Attorney explains Hassan's best case scenario. What are the odds that it's what's that fucking lawyer on his team? The legal something dude. Yep. Like, and again, he has in the last 48 hours, he's had 1, 2, 3 videos about Hassan. 3 videos about Hassan. But please tell me how I'm obsessed. Please tell me how Naira's obsessed. Please tell me how Huot is obsessed when he's made 3 videos about Hassan in fucking 48 hours. Please tell me. Please tell me. Again with Hassan right here. Please tell me how this is legal mindset. Thank you. But please tell me how this isn't obsession. How this isn't Hassan derangement syndrome when he has multiple videos on Hassan, including 3 in 48 hours. That's crazy, dog. Like, but his sycophants will be like, oh, well, everyone else is just obsessed with our Roach King, but he's not obsessed with anyone. And I'm like, dog. I look at this. I made this post earlier today. I said, I couldn't imagine being an Asmongold defender, tying so much of your identity to go on small accounts posts just to shout slurs to protect your parasocial relationship with a disgusting human being. Truly seek therapy. And almost immediately, proven correct. Immediately. This is all they do. Asmongold speaks the truth, and you bunch of loser nobodies share his content hoping to get attention. You losers are pathetic. Won't nobody pay attention to you unless you use someone else's name? Fucking scrubs. Oh, so kind of like how using Hassan's name, that got him more views than anything else so far. Using Hassan's name again. Using Joe Rogan's name. Hassan again. 1 million views. Hassan. So, once again, it's rules for thee. He gets to farm off everybody, and that's good and fine and awesome. But if anyone else does it, you guys are just losers. And you need him you need to talk about him to do stuff. You need to talk about him to get your content to pop off. Which is patently false, at least for me. Because like most of my videos that I've done well are not about him. So I'm not using him as some sort of way to get off. In fact, me not talking about him would probably get me even more views. Like I'm not getting the Asmongold bump. So even like this comment is provably false. Like it's not real. But these people don't live in the real world at all. They live like, listen, I can't imagine you spending the amount of time you do talking about someone else and how they live and should live. Pretty pathetic. That one guy, I guarantee you he's following a bunch of grifters, 100%. 100%. Oh wow, legendary drops. Cabrutus. Just right off rip. Legal mindset. Drama alert. Madam Savvy. Like, yeah, I know Yeet. I know, like, they're so, but like, these are the kinds of people who he attracts, which is why I can't imagine being so intellectually bankrupt that you can't provide a single argument. I can't provide a single argument. Where in this post was I supposed to argue something? But also, my argument is you guys tie so much of your identities that you go after small accounts to protect your parasocial relationship, like you're doing right now. I don't need an argument. You're proving it for me. Here we go. This is his echo chamber. I'm gonna get some more water, and then we're gonna watch this video. I'll keep the captions on so you guys can like follow through and shit. But give me a second. I'm glad at least some people are ratioing Asmongold and calling him out for absolute know-nothing for all he totally is, which brings me quite little yet valuable bit of sanity here, I must say. Yeah, I mean, again, that's why I do this shit. Not just me, but that's why I do it. We have to, I told you guys at this point a year ago, some change ago, like I'm going to keep my foot on people's necks because we have to. You can't let up.
Asmongold is the undisputed roach king of Twitch.
If I had my way, I would disenfranchise 85% of the population instantly. You cannot trust people that can't come to the conclusion that there are two genders. At the end of the day, they want to come off on the side of illiterate, un-American immigrant Somalians rather than actual Americans.
Every day,
because actual Americans are super literate and have great literacy rates.
Tens of thousands of people watch and play video games, doom scroll on X, and talk about politics.
I don't need to understand whatever article you want me to read. All I need to understand is human psychology and incentives.
For the average person that doesn't know much about live streaming or World of Warcraft, they know who Asmongold is because of clips like those.
I don't think that I do have a lack of empathy. It's just that I have a moral compass. It just doesn't point north.
I've been
That's an insane thing to say, by the way. I don't think I have a lack of empathy. It's just my moral compass doesn't point north. Meaning he in fact lacks empathy. He doesn't have morals.
Digital culture reporter for the past decade, studying every facet of Twitch, YouTube, and influencer culture. And I've watched Asmongold go from a fairly small World of Warcraft guide creator into the largest political creator on a lot of platforms.
If I had my way, I would disenfranchise 85% of the population instantly. I would take away their right to vote.
And I wanted to know why. When I watch Asmongold, I just get uncomfortable.
Think about how close Kamala Harris came to winning the presidency, and then tell me that democracy is a good idea.
Things he says are so explicit and over the top that they really don't make sense to me.
Islamophobia is real, actually. It's not. It's not real. Always freak out.
Like, that's, you're going to hear me say this a lot, but that's insane to say that Islamophobia is not real. We've been in a post 9/11 world. We have, and the Department of Homeland Security is a direct outcome of this, which increased Islamophobia to such a degree that you had people wanting to quit going to school. Some people quitting their professional careers, like NFL players, to join the military to specifically go attack Iraq. Like, it's like, to be like, it's not Islamophobia when there are people who are like, he says this shit when they call it like Zoran Mamdanistan. Like, they literally call New York Mamdanistan. Like, they literally call it Mamdanistan. All right, they call it Mamdanistan. Pro-terrorist Democrat socialist Zoran Mamdani wins. Like, they call it Mamdanistan, dog. And now we use it as like a little tongue in cheek, but that's what they were literally calling it. Every time we type in New York, They talk about like Sharia law, right? We don't want Sharia law. We don't want Sharia law in New York. Today, Congressman Randy Fine introduced the Protecting Puppies from Sharia Act. NYCLU statement on planned anti-Sharia rallies. And like, it's just because he is Muslim. That's it. So to say that Islamophobia doesn't exist, Mamdani and the left's alliance with radical Islam, like to say that Islamophobia doesn't exist, just another point in the column of Asmongold being a fucking dumbass who knows nothing. And yes, I am jealous of people who get to live in Mamdanistan. All right? That does low-key go hard. And like the shit that like Ilhan Omar goes through for being a Somali and Muslim, Rashida Tlaib, and you want to say Islamophobia doesn't exist? Stupidity. Is Randy Fine the J6 who smeared bacon on the Quran? I think so. New Yorker who probably voted for Mamdani and would vote for him again. Listen, I voted for Mamdani and I don't live in New York. I love him so much that I cast illegal votes from California, to see that he could become the new mayor because I want to globalize Intifada.
Always melt down, always overreact, and never leave your opponent any breathing room ever.
So I spent the past 6 months investigating Asmongold, figuring out why people like him. So I went directly to his viewers, a lot of whom I spoke to on X, and a few even agreed to Discord calls with me. What I learned is that the average Asmongold viewer is a complex individual who doesn't understand why the world is the way it is, but blames
The common Asmongold viewer does not understand why the world is the way it is. They are easily startled by information and at moments act violently whenever they are confronted with the reality of the world. That's my National Geographic voice.
EI and women for the problems that they experience. They are full of distrust and hate, but I think there's still hope here because even in Asmongold's like disgusting diatribe, there are some pieces that I agree with.
$5 or $10 million should be the amount of money that you should be looking at people that have more than that and being like, why aren't you paying more and why aren't you giving out more of your money?
And it takes like that. It takes like that though that give him a smidgen of cover because people can but I've only seen him say stuff like this where he'll have, and it's like, broken clock, right? Where it's like, at one instance you say that you think people who make over X amount of money should be paying more in taxes. Okay. But then at that very next moment, here you are talking about like, if we have illegal immigrants coming in or take up all their resources. And it's like, how do you not understand the two are related? Like, those rich people are able to have wealth because they are taking migrants, not paying them, not giving them papers so they can not pay them, and they're making exploitable class. Like, if you want the top to pay, then you have to make sure there's no exploitable bottom. God, that came out so wrong. Let me rephrase that. You have to make sure there's not a class of people they can continuously exploit. If you strengthen the lower class, if you strengthen the migrant class to where they have proper documentation, so where they do have protections, you cut into their money. Now you have a way where you can have leverage because they can't just keep going to other countries, pulling people in without paperwork and making them work for pennies pennies an hour, right? And then you can tax them at a higher rate because what are they going to do? They can't make that up anywhere else. Like, you have to look at it holistically. You can't just be like, yeah, millionaires should get taxed more, but also we shouldn't have social goods. We shouldn't have social safety nets. We shouldn't have these base protections. Like, insane.
So thanks for coming and welcome to my channel. This is Stephen Asarch Talks.
Again, whenever you have somebody, I saw his tweet 4,000
TTB and documentary win. You guys do not want to see me try to do a documentary. It'd be 7 hours of me saying something I could have said in an hour.
followers journalists crashing out because Asmongold fans don't want to talk. What's this? Let me pull it up. About a month or so back, I asked any Asmongold fans to meet me in the real world. What?
The fact that he's so confused, like, real world, my fans don't go in public. No fan of mine would ever meet someone in the real world. What are you talking about?
What?
They have like a perception of him like he's like some sheltered hermit, like Jedi wizard that knows everything in the world, despite him not actually interacting with it.
I genuinely believe there are people here for his gaming takes, and I'm so worried that they're getting radicalized by Twitch's most powerful and least researched streamer. Let's go ahead and research. Let's look this person up and see what they've said about me.
He can't even say the word research. Okay, let me go. I'm sorry. Let me go look this person up.
It would be poor research because he's not doing any research at all. He's literally just picking up a video and watching it.
So there's not even a single actual criticism that this person has for me.
When I hear,
By the way, I hate so much that people think the totality of someone's online presence is just what did they post on Twitter? Especially when they are content creators who have either like videos or like a Substack, or like they are, like in this case for Stephen, like actual published journalist, to be like, oh, well, he doesn't have a single Twitter is not a place to have fucking profound critiques on individuals. It's for hot takes, and if you want more, you come to my page, come to my channel, subscribe to my thing, and you'll find out the totality of my idea on this. But to look at someone's Twitter page and just go like, oh man, this is all they have, it's like, obviously not. Obviously not.
Asmongold saying, provocative, intense things like, I don't know, certain groups of people need to be put in a mental institution, or if he doesn't express that much empathy for people dying, things like that. I'm not listening because I necessarily share that exact belief system as he does.
I'd love to go for trust, and I don't write hit pieces. I try to write my stories from a place of understanding. The understanding is basically saying that I'm an edgelord and I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, sure.
Which is what he has stated himself. He has stated that he doesn't do fucking research.
Yeah, obviously nobody's going to engage with that. Definitely.
So who is Zach Hoyt, known as Asmongold? Born in Austin, Texas in 1990, Asmongold grew up in relative poverty with two parents who really struggled to get by.
Things could have been worse for me, but yeah, we were very poor. Like, she made under poverty like every year, basically. I grew up in a house where my mom never really had a job, and we grew up in poverty. And my dad helped me out a bit, and he made sure that the lights stayed on, but that was about it.
He was obsessed with video games from a young age. In a rare interview from 2016, he tells a story of how he was running around with his friends pretending to be Halo Spartans, and that's where the name came from, and it just stuck. Asmongold never really wanted to do anything in life. He never...
What a surprise. What a surprise. What a surprise that he had no aspiration. It's almost as if he's a very simple person to read, and people like to put this mystique around him. Like I've been saying prior to this video, it's very obvious this is a man who just lucked into something. This is not a man who has intentions, who plans things out, who has goals. This is a man who just simply wants to exist. Like, existence is the maximum thing he can do.
Really had any aspirations for anything grander than what he had. He describes his existence as just something that he did in order to get by. Video games were his main focus, and he wanted to do anything so that he didn't have to get a real job.
That was one of the reasons why I didn't have a job, is I didn't want one. Like, all I really wanted to do was collect government welfare and jerk off and play video games.
And yet he's the same person who will say other people are fucking lazy and they don't want to work hard and they just want to collect on government, do resources. Like, but when he was doing it, that was a good aspiration. But if other people want to do that, can't do that.
As a dork slash nerd slash gamer myself, it's something I entirely understand. I got started in journalism writing guides for League of Legends because I didn't want to have
I never
to
got into
actually
League of
work.
Legends.
So I entirely relate to Asmongold on that point. Asmongold had a few jobs. He worked for the IRS and a few other smaller places. But his real love was World of Warcraft. It was a game that he dedicated his whole life to. He became one of the best warriors in the entire game and decided it would be a good idea to post YouTube guides on how to be the best warrior and stuff like that. His channel gained some success, but not too much. He was still very niche for a while.
I was making WoW YouTube videos, and then they said you should stream, and then I started streaming. That's exactly it. It worked really well. It did. I mean, my stream popped off immediately. Like, I immediately started doing well, and so like I was like totally locked in on this. And that's all I would do.
But after enough time on YouTube, he was able to make enough to survive.
Is that the reason why I dropped out? Is that I was making $1,500 a month, and I was like, okay, well, I can make a living on $1,500 a month. Why would I need more than $1,500 a month?
Which is insane to me because like it wasn't like he did this shit in 1990s. I don't know where. I guess Texas has a lower. I don't know where you can live. You can't in California for $1,500 a month, like 15 a month.
It wasn't until 2019.
That's if you work bi-weekly, that's $750 a paycheck.
Of Warcraft Classic came out, which took
Like,
the game.
you're
back
not buying
to its
groceries?
roots of just endless grinding, where you don't need to accomplish anything in your life. You just need to play World of Warcraft all day. That Asmongold really soared in viewership. He became the main World of Warcraft streamer, and his
Wait, what was that? What was that? That
audience
list?
ballooned in viewership in your life. You just need to play World of Warcraft all day. That Asmongold really soared in viewership. He became the main.
Tfue, Ninja, Gauls. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know who Gauls is. I don't know who Monta Blanc is or whatever fuck their name is.
Main World of Warcraft streamer, and his audience ballooned in popularity.
And 2010 is really cheap. Bro was at the right place at the right time for wild content. He really just got lucky with it. That's what I'm saying though. Like, and people are gonna see this to come with me being a hater, which fair, but also it's true. He lucked into this. He wasn't like super creative. He just lucked into it. He just lucked into this. There's no thought behind it. There's no intentionality. Like, you can see other streamers put like a thought on how they're gonna grow. And while I don't agree with the vast majority of their tactics, like clipping and all what have you, you can at least see like the intention. He just got lucky.
Have a vermin problem? Hi.
A lot of people found him during this time, including
Alan Hawkswood.
a 43-year-old Australian who loved World of Warcraft.
I don't necessarily watch all his videos. I kind of dip in and out. Look, I think in a lot of the, I probably didn't watch him for the first few years. It's probably only really after he became big.
Alan, we spoke for about 40 minutes and seemed like a very lonely man. He has people he knows from work, but all of his friends are people he knows online.
I have very small friend group of true friends that I've been with for 20 plus years, but that is essentially the only friends I really have. Alan
Says he lives like Asmongold, a fairly gross individual. I think, you know, he made jokes at the time about having a dead rat that would smell when the sun came up, so he knew it was time to wake up.
The thing is, I used to use a dead rat as an alarm clock, actually, for my stream, because basically what happened was whenever the sun would come up, it would start cooking the corpse of the rat.
And he had...
And the thing though too is, this is why I never gave them the cover of, oh, he's just playing into a character, he's just doing this and doing that, because you've seen how he lives. It's not like, okay, remember like Boogie, what, 2398, what his name was? How he would play the character Francis, how he was like a whiny entitled baby. Like, at least you're like, okay, he's playing a different character, he's playing up a character, or he's doing this. Or even like Dr. Disrespect, how like the doc is probably different than Guy Beam, I hope so, but you can tell they're playing characters. He never did anything close to that. Like, you saw his home. He has a clip going around, he has a roast calling on him. He had a clip where he was talking with his dad and then like Tectone's dad on their Steak and Next podcast, and they were like saying, yeah, their rooms are fucking gross. This isn't like a bit, right? So like when he says like he had a blood wall or he had a dead rat alarm clock, yeah, it's probably true.
Bits of blood smeared on his wall from his poor hygiene, and his room was relatively disgusting.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I essentially live the same way. I can see, what, 5 cans, empty cans right now, 2 coffee bottles, there's clothes on the floor, what's now. I'm a messy person, so I don't judge him for his hygiene.
I don't take pride living in garbage or not. It's simply something that I don't care about.
Which is so stupid, because that means, how do you not care about that? You know what I mean? Like, you can't be like, I don't take pride, I just don't care about it. You obviously have an opinion on it. You don't want to clean up. You were talking how you don't like to shower. You do take pride in being filth. You call yourself the Roach King.
He lives in squalor and hates immigration, which he says doesn't make him a bad person. It's because he's Australian.
What's that place with the kangaroos? They couldn't get rid of them. What's it called? Not Arizona. It's something like that. Australia.
Things like the Great Replacement Theory / replacing the population obviously appeals a little bit more to me because I believe it is a possibility for us, unfortunately.
It's so funny to be like spot on about Asmongold's viewership, where it's a lot of foreigners who believe in the Great Replacement Theory, who are losers like him, and that's what they connect with him. Because he even said that he didn't even watch lots of his videos, not until he got big. But he likes his shit because he talks about the Great Replacement Theory, because Asmongold also doesn't like immigrants, and that's what he's connecting with him on.
But he's also pro-fascism.
I think, once again, as you said, the pro-fascism. But once again, in Australia, in certain regards, I still believe 100% we need fascism.
And Asmongold was just there for him. He watched him multiple hours a day while he was working. Asmongold was just part of his life.
I am very different to a lot of normal people. His political takes, in a sense, I probably agreed with, say, 90% of them. In a sense, he became a news source.
In a world where streamers were standing in like...
If you agree with 90% of what someone says, you're fully in line with them. Like, I don't know how else to tell you. 90%. What, you think the other 10% doesn't go far enough? You said you like the Great Replacement Theory. But another point I wanted to mention out here is, notice how he was like, Asmongold was there for him. Imagine someone telling you they have Nazi ideology. They are warming up to fascism. And then they're like, oh yeah, my favorite content creator I love is like TTB in gaming. Like, they would not be in my audience, right? Because they would not feel welcomed in this audience. Because the stuff I talk about or how I talk about it would let you know that I'm probably not okay with that shit. So I would not be a good place to go to for that. But the fact that someone like this feels at home in Asmongold's audience speaks to what myself and like Crimes New Rome was talking about in his pipeline video. It speaks to that idea where if you aren't strong in like setting the boundaries, like, hey, this is how we operate, you allow for these people to feel like they are just as welcomed as, say, like a queer person or a trans person or some kind of minority. That's why I make it very clear, like, no one in my audience is pro-fascist, right? No one in my audience is like transphobic. No one in my audience hates black people because they would not be comfortable here at fucking all. His audience feels comfortable saying and doing this shit because that's who he courts.
Fancy houses and being superstars. There was Asmongold sitting in his filth, talking about how he just wants to play World of Warcraft all day and hang out. The money and the fame never got to him. He's still the same disgusting gremlin that he was when he was still making just a few guides for a few $1,000s.
See, but he doesn't have to wear the I'm holier than thou veneer because of, obviously, he lives in squalor. Doesn't turn around and say, I'm better than you.
And remember what I said earlier, if you weren't here, don't worry, I got you, where I said that a lot of his audience falls for his aesthetics of being this disgusting, gross person, this veneer of that, because they believe that to be more honest. He's not holier than thou. But look at how they view that. If they think him being disgusting and not showering and living in squalor is him being honest, then literally any other streamer would be considered talking down to them. Like, I would be considered like holier than thou to them because I'm not having roaches crawling all over my body.
After his 2019 explosion, Asmongold started to diversify into different spaces. He co-founded OTK with a few of his friends, and Mythic Talent, a talent agency. He started a podcast and really started to expand outside of just his niche.
Regular dude, regular man. See, Hassan's nasty and disgusting because he's a rich guy and he has podcasts and he wears expensive things. He's not like Mr. John Everyone who has multiple companies. Who founded 3 companies.
Really exploded in 2022 during the Amber Heard trial, when all of these commentary streamers were reacting every single...
Hold on. I tried to explain this to my brother who is an Asmon fan, that he attracts Nazis. He doesn't get it and just says that Asmon can't control who watches him. He can, though. You can send your brother one of my videos on Asmongold if you want. You can control who watches you. Not to like, not like literally like come watch my stuff, but you create your audience. If you have Nazi tendencies, you're going to attract people who are also okay with Nazi tendencies. If you are, let's say you fucking hate black people, like you're Chud the Builder, you are not going to follow, maybe in real life, but you're not going to follow a bunch of black content creators. Conversely, a lot of black content creators aren't going to attract Nazis unless they specifically talk, like Myron Gaines, for example, Fresh and Fit. He attracts Nazis because he sig hails. Like it's bullshit. By the way, when you see creators go like, I can't control who watch me. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you absolutely can. Like when you see people who go and do awful, terrible acts, and they'll be like, yeah, I watched lots of Fox News. I was listening to this Fox News report about how there's Somali. I was following Nick Shirley and how he exposed these Somalians. So I went and shot him up. You understand how that happens. You don't look at it and go like, how could it have gone this way? You wouldn't see someone who is like, oh, I love game theory so much. I'm a huge MatPat fan, which is why I blew up a school bus. Because that's not radicalizing content. That isn't a creator that puts out content that would foment that kind of sentiment amongst his audience. Was I the only person who didn't give a shit about the Depp Heard trial? I didn't watch or read it. I didn't really care about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial either. That's why I didn't cover it. But I did hear about it. So I was like, oh, okay, I looked into it. But I wasn't super into it. Like, yeah, Asmon creates a community where not just feel safe to say their values and share them. It's so simple to me. And I think some Asmon fans are in denial, but also probably racist too. I'm going to show you guys later on. There's a clip of Asmongold straight up saying that he wants to be a funnel to Nick Fuentes. So they can't really deny that.
Single day to what was going on with Amber Heard because they desperately needed content and they didn't want to have to think for themselves.
Here we go. Let's do it.
Damn.
Oh my God. This is bad, man.
Lots of different content creators, including people who had never covered anything remotely like this before, all started covering this at the same time from the position of that narrative and getting millions of views from it.
This is not your home, invader.
Zenbane found Asmongold through these Amber Heard clips.
I wasn't even watching the trial. I thought the whole concept was stupid myself when I had heard that it was, people were watching it. But I just happened to click on it. I think it was because the thumbnail or something just kind of caught my attention. It was good clickbait, I suppose. I don't know. His reactions were funny. Watching Johnny Depp, the way they clipped him was funny.
Zenbane said his great-great-great-grandmother was a school teacher in Mexico, and she came here properly. So she's a good immigrant. But all these bad immigrants,
I got here the proper way.
They're the
I
ones
came here the
causing our
proper
world to
way.
get worse.
She didn't come here jobless, and try to live here, illegally. There is no illegal immigration in my family. And this might even be controversial to say, but any disparity we're going to feel throughout life, that it's going to come more so from our own people than from someone outside of our culture. So, but essentially, if we define what happens when we say that was racist, right? Someone says a bad slur, someone beats you up, or just someone prevents you from advancing in life at a job, like any of those things you're going to experience, we're going to, as Hispanics, we're going to most likely experience those more from other Hispanics than from someone who's black or white.
He described as
Listen, I'm not Hispanic. I'm a non-Hispanic black. I'm African. So I can't speak to that with any sort of authority. Man, that sounds kind of wrong. Just because if we're talking about being a minority in this country, how many times are you going to see a person in a position of power to, discriminate against you or whatever, be Hispanic? Like, I feel like, but again, I can't speak to that to any sort of authority. I'm not Hispanic, but that just seems kind of like sometimes it do be your own people, but like not in like the corporate financial sense most often than not because of the systems at play. But
Asmongold as a street preacher.
I'm going to use Assange as an example. He's more like trying to come across like the Pope. Everyone should listen to me. Whereas Asmongold is the wacky homeless guy on the side of the road, holding the mic, holding the Bible and just screaming his interpretation of the Bible.
I think after,
which is such an insane thing to be like, this is a good quality to. Like, if you're going to say Hassan is the Pope, and then there's a homeless man screaming about the Bible, just who do you think might have more authority when talking about religion? The fucking Pope? Or the homeless man rambling on the corner about the end of days? Like, in this analogy, but this is the mind of an Asmongold fan, that it's more credible or more relatable to talk to and take news from the homeless man rambling than someone who's like, well, I'm the Pope. I've had years of study in theology. This, and the third. Because these people hate any sort of education. They hate anyone who's educated. It's the same reason people like Joe Rogan. They intentionally like dumb people. They intentionally like people who do not espouse any sort of consistency in their ideology because they think that's more real and relatable. But that makes no fucking sense. Like, why would in this analogy would you make the person you're trying to bolster be the obvious weaker of the two? Like, holy shit, we're in such an anti-intellectual environment. Like, it's not like he's trying to compare like fucking Socrates to Diogenes, right? I don't think even know who Diogenes is, but I don't think they're trying to compare those two. So to be like the homeless man is the homeless man rambling on the corner in the microphone, talking about the end of days. I would rather listen to him than the Pope on the topic of like religion or Catholicism. I just can't understand that.
Amber Heard, Asmongold sort of felt invulnerable. Like he could say anything and get away with it because his community absolutely loved it. If you look at during this time, he starts working with Clippers to grow into a massive phenomenon. Every single one of his YouTube videos were pulling in millions of views. So his streams were getting tens of thousands of views, and then his YouTube videos were getting even more views, and he just grew and grew from there. But eventually, all of that incredibly toxic diatribe leaked out of his community into the wider space. In 2024, he was banned from Twitch for a brief period.
Thanks for
describing Palestinians as
terrible people. These people are not your ally.
I don't listen to teachings of religion. Right. But in this example, if you had to listen to that teachings, would you choose the person who clearly doesn't know anything or someone who has some experience and knowledge about the topic? Like that's what we're getting at. That's what they're talking about. Like they would rather get their news from Asmongold than Hassan. even though Hassan has degrees in this, which gives you a much more educated viewpoint on things than some fucking dumbass who doesn't know anything, who literally does no research.
They are not the same as us. They come from an inferior culture that is horrible. It kills people for their identity.
Like, even this whole diatribe here, when he talks about like how Palestinians are inferior, it kills people for their identity, as if that doesn't happen in America. As if that doesn't happen in America. Like that's what people are talking about. He's so unaware and so unknowledgeable about the way the world works that he thinks that this is something unique to Palestinians. The Palestinian culture is inferior because it kills people for identity. But we've never lynched black people in America. We've never killed people for being gay in America. Those things have never happened. We've never killed people for identities in this country because we're good and wholesome. Like Jesus Christ, Oklahoma, Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre, fucking Black Wall Street. Like, there's so many things that we've done in this country specifically on the grounds of someone's identity.
And it is directly antithetical to everything Western values stand for, and it is an inferior culture in all ways.
From there, he did apologize somewhat, saying,
I said something about it that was disgusting. I think that I've been slowly devolving into the most mean-spirited, I don't really even know what the word is for it. Just like the most mean-spirited, rude, like nasty.
Didn't the Nazis look at the U.S. doing a minority assessment? Yes. The Nazis, Hitler and his crew looked at race relationships in America between blacks and whites and used that as the blueprint. $2 suspects. Nothing makes me wetter than rotting anti-hygienetics. You'll love this guy then, who always looks like he's sweating.
Like just callous, psychopathic version of myself. I think that I've been devolving into that.
Since then, Asmongold has basically
That's sarcasm? Yeah, I know. Listen, I know what sarcasm is.
proven that he's learned nothing. He is just saying whatever the hell he wants. Asmongold's cut ties with OTK and Mythic, though he did clean his room.
And clean out the entire thing. Clean out everything. Clean out like all the desks. I even got the vacuum cleaner.
But around this time is when I really started to have a fascination into Asmongold. I kept seeing all of those clips, all of those horrifying things he said.
Say it the way I think it is. That's it. I say it the way it is. Anybody thinks I'm racist out of their fucking mind. So if they think that, they crazy. Fuck them. Who cares? What you're saying is very true. We're going to take this out of context, turn it into something.
And this is something, again, that he always does. It's trying, hey, I just tell it how it is. So if you think I'm racist, that's on you. What? So because these are the thoughts that are in your head, they cannot be in any way, shape, or form bigoted. Everybody always talking about hoeflation, but it's actually the opposite. I used to be able to go to GameStop or Target and see hot bitches working every day. Now it's just hogs. Why? Because those girls are at home doing OnlyFans now instead of working, which OnlyFans is working. But so you say something like this, and that's not any form of misogyny, it's not informed by any of your worldview, that's just telling it like it is. You're not misogynistic, you're not a bigot, you're not sexist, you're not racist. When you say shit like that, when you say shit about Palestinians being inferior, that's not you being racist. Oh, because he also said Islamophobia doesn't exist. So therefore he can't be racist against Palestinians because Islamophobia is not real, because what he said. Like,
A name? Good. I'll look forward to it. It's a new YouTube video for me tomorrow.
His lines on what is fair and what isn't are really confusing. Weirdly enough, he does believe that a universal basic income is a good thing and that you should help the poor.
I think it's okay if they want to buy.
Again, how the fuck is Emeru stay friends? This guy, I guess he's just to lose his point. Yeah, because it doesn't affect their money. Like, I have done videos talking about what's happened to Emeru and what she's, and also what she's done. When I talk about somebody, let's say they're a victim of something, like Emeru was a victim of assault at Twitch, right? I talked about that. To me, that doesn't negate like who they are as people, but I can still recognize the situation. I don't think anyone in OTK gives a shit about what Asmongold says or does unless it affects them financially. Like, that's my honest to God assessment. They don't care. They don't care. They have their echo chambers that will support them no matter what. So as long as Asmongold doesn't continuously fuck up their money, they don't give a shit. Emery could be friends with him because it doesn't matter.
Cookies with food stamps, because in my opinion, it's just cookies, man. Let a person have a little bit of dignity.
He doesn't like immigrants. He doesn't like people. He doesn't care for anyone.
I remember that tweet. It was talking about how AI women was, how AI was taking jobs away from women, and like it removes that fake disparity, and now they can go back to being like prostitutes or like housewives. That's what he was tweeting about.
That is outside of his own bubble.
The West has a huge problem that we have an infection and we refuse to admit that there's a problem. There is clearly a problem, there is clearly an affliction, and there is also clearly a solution. But they don't want to talk about that because it might make them feel bad. That has to stop.
And when you're watching someone 8 hours a day,
that's just Nazi
that
shit
sort
right
of
there.
Diatribe really infects who you are as a person. So I decided I needed to figure out who watches Asmongold. So in December of 2025, I put out a tweet saying, if you live in New York City, I would love to talk to you. And I got hundreds of responses, all of which said, absolutely not. Some of them said I was trying to make a trap, that I was going to record them, even though I said it was going to be an off-the-record talk. I just wanted to figure out who they were, and they
So
all
paranoid.
hated the idea so much. I also got a lot of valuable answers. People seem to love Asmongold.
I can tell you why. Despite his hygiene, which only harms himself, he routinely tells his viewers to not emulate or live like himself or his family. He has extremely common sense takes and conclusions regardless of if you disagree with his opponents or not. Criminals are being criminals, lock them up. They are violent criminals with seeming zero chance of normality, lock them up for life or rope them. Like, this is not common sense. These are insanely delusional stances. These are not common sense stances at all. Criminals are being criminals, lock them up. No. What are we defining as criminal behavior? Now, this is someone, me, who has a degree in this shit. So I have a little bit more authority on this topic. To say that criminals are being criminals, my video sounds a bit low. To say that criminals are being criminals means nothing. Because you know what was a crime back in the day? Jaywalking. Littering. I pirated a movie. I'm breaking laws. So I should be locked up. Oh, or maybe someone stole some food to eat. So lock them up. Why not address the root causes? Because crime is not something that happens randomly. There are factors that precipitate crimes. Like, it's not just a thing that just, they're criminals. People aren't just criminals. Criminals don't exist. It's laws. Laws make you criminals or not. It would be criminal for someone to, for example, back in the day, to have freed a slave. Because slaves are considered property. So it'd be breaking a law. You should lock up someone from freeing a slave? There's no morality at play. There's no nothing there. Just lock them up. They are violent criminals with seemingly zero chance of normality. Lock them up for life or rope them. Again, what do you mean by violent crimes? People think violent crime is just like stabbing someone or murder. There's other types of violent crimes too. And some of those crimes may be in the passion. Some of those crimes may be in defense. But for this person, it's just like, they have zero chance for normality. What does that mean, by the way? They're not normal? Normal just means something that's common. It doesn't mean it's right. It's just things that happens. Like, guess what? It's normal for people to poop, but it doesn't mean I get to just shit on myself or shit wherever I want, right? It's normal though. Like, there's things beyond this. Judges or outside individuals interfering with the obvious lockup of criminals. Like, what is the obvious lockup? Like, doesn't make any sense. Immigrants entering illegally, send them back. Immigrants committing violent crime, let me turn the captions on for a second. Send them back. Nice option, rope them. Mean option, or lock them up for life. Mid option. Your options are send them back, kill them, or incarcerate them forever for the crime of trespassing. That's what ultimately illegal immigration is. It is trespassing. Like, these are not common sense. These are not common sense takes at fucking all.
Because they love to spend time with someone who is genuine. The fact that he is someone real, that
he gives very common sense. It always says common sense, common sense. These aren't common sense. You guys are just fucking stupid. Like, his audience is full of dumb people, which is why they think it's common sense. Like, he gives very common sense takes, in my opinion. People that call him far right are actually coming from an extremely far position, in my opinion. Dude is humble, a multimillionaire who still lives in his childhood home. Guy speaks his mind and is usually open to critique. He is not open to critique. What are you talking about? He is not open to critique. Famously so. Which is why he goes to his echo chamber. Dude is humble. No, he's not either. Like, this is another thing. This is another thing people would do too. And I know, and I know that people might think I'm getting too much into it, but in our society, right, in this culture, we have a thing when it relates to whiteness, and where we try to make it the most sanitized or the most like gentlest thing out there, where Asmongold can go on stream and talk about how much money he has and how he's so big and how he can crush all these people and how he'll keep farming them and he'll do all these things. And they will say he's being humble. That is not humble. But when white people do certain things, they get away with it. If I talk about, damn, I'm pretty good, I'm pretty smart, I'm pretty great, they're like, this guy's cocky. He's so arrogant. He's so this. But if Asmongold says the same exact things, it's just common sense. Like, no, he's not humble. And because he still lives in his childhood home, so fucking what? So because he's a multi-millionaire who still lives at home, that's why you like him? But if he was not a multi-millionaire, would that be a problem? Like, it makes no fucking sense. Stop playing the video. Hey, Specs, this is how this works. This is how this works. I can pause and talk whenever I want, right? I can pause and talk whenever I want. This is my time now. So if you don't like that, you can go to Steven's video, watch it all the way through without my commentary. We're not gonna do this backseating anymore. This was your last chance. But again, they fall for this whole like, oh, but he still lives in his childhood home. So what? So what?
someone you could hang out with, that he doesn't seem like he's faking it. And I don't necessarily believe that's a good thing for.
Again, I'm a fan when it comes to his gaming content or non-political stuff. He is a talented entertainer, and his gaming actions are often really fun to watch. He's a standard caricature of a gamer, not some LA yacht streamer. Like, this is... whenever he starts talking politics, though, I tune out. That is the vast majority of his content. That is a vast majority of his content. Not some LA yacht streamer. Who is that even? Like, I legitimately, like, who is that? Is that like fucking Jason the Ween? Is that like Aiden Ross? Like, what are we talking about?
A content creator, because those people may not have your best interest at heart. I don't think Asmongold has anyone's best interest at heart other than himself. He just wants to be able to, like, live how he wants.
He's funny when talking about games and other silly situations. Whenever it comes to politics, he goes full R word. I skip those. But hey, we can't expect everyone to be perfect. Plus, he's just voicing his opinion, which doesn't affect anyone. This is insanity to me. This is insanity to me. This is the equivalent if you were hanging around someone, they're like, oh yeah, like Jeff's a real good guy. But whenever he goes into his Nazi diatribes, I just ignore that. I don't really like that part. But when he starts talking about video games with me, that's when I hang out with him. What the fuck? Like, especially for Asmongold, when him talking about politics is the vast majority of his content. Like, they literally are telling you that they are making justifications of being fans with him, are fans of his. Yeah, man, I really fucking hate it when he talks about politics, which is 90% what he does. But sometimes he makes funny joke, and I think that that makes up for the other 70% of the time. Because no one's perfect. This isn't someone who sometimes like says bad words or offensive words that he's trying to get better on, whatever. This is someone who takes extreme amounts of time to talk about how much they love what's happening in Iran, of everyone bombing the shit out of schools, how he watched ICE kill Alex Preddy and Renee Good and was cheering about that. Oh, but sometimes he plays Assassin's Creed Shadows and makes funny jokes, so I think he's a good, entertaining person. Like, plus he's just voicing his opinion, which doesn't affect anyone, only those without critical thinking. No, that's not.
Wants to live. The money he makes means nothing to him.
I got a 1099 and it was like millions of dollars. I don't even know where it came from.
You probably have
Humble.
$6 to $8 million left after taxes.
More than that, probably. A lot.
Look how humble he is. He could have just said, yeah, but no, he's like, no, I make more money than that. I make way more money than that. Super humble guy.
More than that.
Really?
He doesn't want to grow off of it. He just wants to like exist and again, not have to work. And the people who watch him, I think, feel similarly. They just want to be able to watch and not think and just hang out. So about a month,
what
they just want to be able to watch.
He speaks for the layman, the commonwealth, the common good. All these people worry about being logical when it's the least viable and less unique overall. Jesus Christ, these people are real and can vote. These people are real and can vote. He's far more reasonable than most individuals, and that gives him a natural insight. How can this be true? How can other people worry about being logical, which is not valuable, and he speaks for the layman, but he's far more reasonable, actually, and that gives him natural insight because he can practice empathy within his own thoughts? What the fuck does this sentence mean? Like, what? This can be applied universally. What SJW, what Democrats promote is not ambiguous and not applicable universally. What promote is not ambiguous and not applicable universally. Why would you want it to be ambiguous? Why is that the quality you're seeking? How can you apply something ambiguously universally? Like,
and not think and just hang out. So about a month after I do that tweet, I put out another tweet, which is basically my thoughts on Asmongold.
I'm dying.
I will let Asmongold read my tweet, so I don't have to.
About a month or so back, I asked any Asmongold fans to meet me in the real world. What? But none of them took me up on the offer. Instead, I got hundreds of replies and messages saying that I didn't understand them, how I should just watch the streams and not the clips. So I did, and I learned that Zach doesn't care. He'll put out a video that he doesn't understand the full context of and rant about it with extreme right-wing bias. It's vitriol for 6 hours straight. Oh. A hand-picked selection of clips designed to invoke anger without critical thinking. I genuinely believe there are people here for his gaming takes, and I'm so worried that they're getting radicalized by Twitch's most powerful and least researched streamer.
He read it on stream and was quite pissed.
This guy is like, he's randomly trying, meet me in real life. Yeah, obviously, random people don't want to meet some dumbass in real life. Let's see what this guy's saying about me.
And then his fans came after me hard. They were ready to,
why do you care what other people do with their lives? You must be doing something right because you thought. This is the most common refrain. There's some version of, you must be pathetic. Why do you care? He's so successful. Da, 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 da. Then why do you care? That's always been my counter. Then why do you care? Why is it okay that you get to care about what he does and what he says, but if I care about what he does and what he says, it's a problem. If Stephen cares about what he does and what he says, it's a problem. And then you're going to throw someone else, like, bitch, it's not your success. Like, why are you guys dick riding so hard? He's 1,000 times more successful than you. Oh, is he paying you to say this? No. Oh, that's so sad. So you're just doing this for free. You're just writing it for free right now. Like you're like I mentioned in my earlier post, you people look for small accounts to harass at the behest of your Roach King for his honor or whatever for free? That's crazy. That's crazy.
Call me all sort of names. But out of that tweet, I managed to get conversations going with a few actual Asmongold fans. People who agreed that, hey, maybe it's a good time to kind of leave the echo chamber. Because Asmongold believes that you should stay within the echo chamber.
So the problem that I have is that whenever I want to interact with somebody, or somebody wants to interact with me, usually that's like a non-starter because I don't want to talk to anybody. What's a good time for you? Never. Never. That's the answer. Never.
Whenever Destiny or Hassan want to debate him these days, he turns it down because the idea of having your views questioned is completely unacceptable to Asarch.
Yeah.
I have no obligation to do anything. And there are some people that think that, well, because I disagree with you so much, you have some kind of like obligation to 1v1 me or something.
I do think if you do political commentary, I think this would be one of the laws I would enforce. You should have an obligation to have some kind of confrontational discourse. It can't just be that everybody can go run off into their own corners and construct their own realities. That's just.
And I can't believe I'm saying this, but I kind of agree with Destiny here. If you are no matter what Asmongold says, he is staunchly in the political sphere. He is. Like, if you look at the majority of his output, right? Like I said, okay, Path to Exile, right? And then it's talking about Hassan, then something's radicalizing, what's happening in Italy, Hassan again, Joe Rogan, Actions of Consequences, the feds got him, like the big conspiracy on the internet right now, like here's talking with Nick Shirley, like he's very clearly, nobody thought this ever happened, treats like he's very clearly in the political zeitgeist. Elon actually out of her mind. Someone told me to react to this, and we probably will do afterwards. But like, he's very clearly in the political sphere. He's no longer into the gaming sphere. He's literally like 95% of the content I've showed you have been political shit. Like that's literally like that's most of his stuff. Like he's talking about Indians have invaded Portugal. Like he can't use that whole, oh, I just talk about whatever. Like, no, you're very staunchly in the political sphere of things. You're always chiming in on politics. You're political. So you should have to, especially if you're making these claims about other people in this space, you absolutely should have to be able to defend your point against them.
Crazy to me. I don't think it's acceptable.
Yeah. No.
He wants to exist in this world, and he wants to be that sort of guy that doesn't have his stuff questioned. He wants to exist in the filth. Throughout all these conversations and all these tweets, what I learned is that the average Asmongold fan just wants to live in their own echo chamber. They just want to relate to a guy who they feel is like them. I don't want to make fun of these people, but the first openly said how much he loves fascism. The second one was a fourth-generation Mexican immigrant who believes that immigration is a bad thing. And the third made me a whole PowerPoint about Hassan's armpits.
Who am I? None of your business.
Black Druid.
Jesus
He reached out to me
Christ,
with
dude.
extreme animosity.
I'll meet you, you leftist hack. Asmongold speaks truth to power. You just lie and slander people. Big difference. Yeah, Asmongold speaks truth to power, which is why he gets on his knees to suck the dick of the ice every single time he can. That's speaking truth to power, huh? Where he says everything he wants to because he knows that Trump's administration will support him. That's speaking truth to power. Yeah.
And really was like, I'm gonna own this guy. He gave me a list of 5 rules.
No asking where I'm from or what I do or give up personal information. Privacy is paramount, etc. No loaded questions. You're a journalist. You know what those are. I prefer we have a proper conversation, and that includes hearing what you believe. I will ask you some questions for clarification on your view of things. I like to show images / PowerPoints to explain my thoughts. How's that for a start? We both get a full recording of our conversation. So fucking paranoid.
Before we even spoke, including I could not asking his name or any personal information, which is pretty hard for an interview because that's kind of the whole point. But once we got talking, it got even stranger.
Asmongold isn't a right-winger. He's been, as far as I've watched, going back all the way to the Dark Souls days, he's always been left-wing.
I wasn't trying to like be funny. I mean, I was a little bit. I had to go pee, but apparently words we're just saying words now, dog. We're just saying words now. Asmongold once did a political compass test and came back as left wing. That's kind of what happens when a right winger doesn't pick their views from a crib sheet, though. He like just to give you guys, he's right wing. He's left wing according to this person, right? But he is a funneling source for Nazis.
Oh, because I'm one of them.
Now, do you not get deplatformed through all this? I simply, I am a very pragmatic person. I have no problems not saying things or not doing something if I feel like it won't be advantageous for me. So I just simply don't say things that I think will get me in trouble, and until it's okay to say them.
Which is exactly what I've been telling you guys about him and people like him. They wait till something's advantageous. They're only saying this shit now because the culture allows it. But if it doesn't allow it, they wouldn't be saying this shit.
That's literally it. You're a good boy. Yeah, I like Nick doesn't do that. Nick says exactly what he thinks, and it's respectable. It is. I don't have any negative about it. But to me, I view my role as being a more mainstream ally towards this stuff without necessarily spearheading any sort of like real controversial change.
An ally towards this stuff, he's talking about a literal white supremacist. Like, I cannot stress this enough. Nick Fuentes is a neo-Nazi. He is a white supremacist, an avowed white supremacist, well known. You cannot type his name without the words neo-Nazi or white supremacist coming up. And he's saying he's an ally to that. He just doesn't want to spearhead it.
Because I can't really do that. It would compromise my position. That's the reason. I'm a funnel. Yeah, I kind of do that. Yeah, like a funnel in a way. So that's the reason why I do most things that I do are like there's reasoning behind them.
Yes, I know.
Wayne, for sure. Yeah, I do.
And
like that is him, not me over exaggerating, not me putting words in his mouth. This is him quite literally telling everyone he is a funnel to radicalism towards being a fucking Nazi. And he says he knows his place. He knows his lane. He knows where he sits in the radicalization pipeline. He also said when he does things intentionally, like, yes, and I said that before I showed you this clip, because he's easy to read. It's very obvious. He supports white supremacy. It's so blatant. The fact that he's even feeling comfortable enough to say that he is a funnel for Nick Fuentes specifically, right? Like this is who Asmongold wants his audience to move on to, or at the very least to also watch. He watches Nick Fuentes' content and not to counteract it, right? Not doing the stuff that I'm doing. He's watching it to get his audience on board with Nick Fuentes. This is 100% why he's literally doing this. Like the people saying he's going fully mask off, they're not being hyperbolic. He quite literally is doing this. He said he's an ally to this kind of stuff, emphasis on this kind of stuff, which means a variety of political content which he can't speak out on as a mainstream Twitch streamer, probably because the TOS is left-wing bias and left-wing. Based as fuck, steering people in the right direction. Like, who would have guessed a pro-genocide stream would be pro-Nazi? But like, this is who Asmongold is.
And I know because
this is who Asmongold is. So for us to know this, and then to say that he's always been left-wing, like his audience is so fucking cooked.
If you want, I'm just going to send a quick photo to you so you can just take a look.
He had created an entire PowerPoint where he showed why Hassan is worse than Asmongold.
So they're basically the same. Fully supports Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis. Does not support Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis. Because he supports Nazis. Notice how they didn't talk about where they stand on Israel. Notice how they didn't talk about where they stand about American imperialism, because he supports American imperialism, and he literally, as I just demonstrated, supports Nazis. Like,
because Hassan had a horse growing up, and Asmon was the goated Chad who lived in squalor. These were benefits to him.
and to me, showing this picture, it's more insane to me that if I told you one of these guys is currently fighting against our government because he went to Cuba to support people, and is always advocating about social change and socialism and how rich people need to pay more, and the other guy is all about protecting essentially capital and all about like war, you would think just off visuals the rich kid would be like that. But it's the fucking poor guy. The guy who grew up poor has less empathy for others than the rich kid. It's more amazing that someone who grew up with wealth, who benefits from wealth, can be like, damn, I think everyone else should have the same kind of childhood or benefits I got. And it sucks that they don't. Then you have this guy who grew up poor on food stamps and is like, fuck poor people. They're lazy. These immigrants, they're lazy.
Asmon was the goated Chad who lived in squalor. These were benefits to him. Black Drew giggled when I used the term POC. Get that there are like POCs in media?
Sorry, can you say that again?
There are POCs in media?
POC.
That's a person of color.
I'm not sure if you know, but I'm brown myself, so I'm not really sure what you were expecting. But look, moving on.
And
like, what was even that interchange, right? What was that exchange? You may not know, but I'm brown myself. Okay, what does that have to do with him using the word POC?
Believes that DEI is what is killing video games, and went on a long rant about.
I know for a fact that if they were to appeal to like this woke ideology, they also lose a lot of money. Like you can look at the video game, for example, Dragon Age. I would actually assume that a lot of men have felt attacked by journalists that basically their whole space of the gaming sphere,
just
because
saying shit,
catered to the woke crowd, those lost billions. We can just talk about Concord if the
fucking course, dog. Of course, because I am eternally in hell and I am never getting away from Concord. It doesn't matter. I'm never getting away from Concord. It doesn't matter, dog. It's always Concord. Concord's the only game that had that failed. It's only Concord. Concord was woke for some reason. It's always Concord. It's always fucking Concord. It's always Concord. It's always Concord.
As an example as well, Assassin's Creed Shadows, right? It's an ideology that I believe let's just take it out, right? Let's take out all the politics, okay? Or let's just say that it was an ideology that loses money. Is that a fair assessment that we can both agree on?
No.
I'm not getting into any of that sort of stuff in this video. There are plenty of other YouTube videos on the internet that are going to do that for me. So I'm just going to kind of explain, what these people are kind of thinking.
Sorry, I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. Turns out going outside was a terrible idea. I've also let the place get a little...
Why didn't Shadows fail? Because now it's actually hot, so therefore it's not woke. I don't know, man. Like it's so draining, you guys. Like it's the same argument no matter where I go. When I close my eyes, I just see Concord. I just see people making up shit about why a Ghost of Yote failed even though it didn't. I'm seeing people talking about Assassin's Creed Shadows failing even though it didn't.
Messy, but I thought that was kind of appropriate for what we're talking about today. This video has pushed me to my absolute limit. My YouTube recommended feed has been absolutely destroyed. It is just full of Asmongold videos now. And now I see his hair and teeth whenever I close my eyes or go to sleep. DEI and woke just fill my every moment. But it hasn't all been bad. There have been a few bright spots in this production. Alan recently beat cancer and said that his opinions on Asmongold have shifted, mainly because of Asmon's takes on the Iran war.
So when you first talk,
I like the fact though that after beating cancer, he's like, let me re-examine. Now that I'm not coming to the end of my life, let me re-examine. Why do I like this guy again?
talk to me and talking about Asmon, I'm not 100% sure where that was in general because that was a couple of months ago. But with this latest Iran stuff, he is just following the narrative, which is America good and we're the best type thing. And I'm like,
and this is the guy, you guys remember, Asmon speaks to power.
Yeah, nah.
But the reality is that
in my restless dreams, I still see that average life service game. That's my, yes, my Silent Hill is me pulling up, the fog rolls in, there's no pyramid head, there's no, repression of like my sexual urges or anything like that. It's just fucking DEI and Concord just beating the shit out of me.
you have to also look at why are people oppressed. And in some cases, there's a good reason why they're oppressed, and you should probably oppress them even more. They deserve it. And I think that Iran's a good example. Same with criminals, stuff like that, shoplifters.
I feel it's
Empathy.
more about keeping the audience that he wants.
And I think that the moment that American bombs start dropping, the moment that American soldiers get involved, now it's no longer the Iranian revolution, it's the regime change that was basically facilitated by America.
Zenbane said he's actually super excited for this video to come out, and Black Druid doesn't seem to hate me as much. He's sent me very long rants.
Save this just in case you want an example of my news source being much more reliable than others. An incident would happen on the, oh my god, this is some QAnon shit. An incident would happen on the 16th of May, which will cause an uproar in UK politics. A clash between the woke ideology and the far right, as journalists misrepresents them, will happen, and the woke ideas will start to press within the UK. Keir Starmer will resign after that date. This is May 14th. Okay. Is there anything more up to date? 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. It is Keir Starmer. Well, this is to oust him. Crown will be forced out. It's just a matter of when and how. So again, he's not resigning. He said he won't resign. He didn't resign. He might get forced out, but didn't resign. So kind of like your sources are bad then, right? Asmongold warned us about the US intervening in Iran before anyone did. He didn't. He didn't rely on a single source. He didn't need to. An INTP logician, oh my God, we're doing Myers-Briggs? Oh.
Including a few heart emojis. But I think the thing that's made me most optimistic working on this project was meeting Charles A. Hurley, a 23-year-old who first started watching Asmongold when he was 16 or 17.
Amidst the flames, only we shall remain.
When I got into WoW Classic, I also got into his content a lot more, where he starts to grow on me, where he had like this resonance of like relatability.
His cousin had introduced him to Asmongold because they were both playing World of Warcraft Classic, and he got really into Asmon. He became really excited and energized by Asmon's content.
He started becoming a bit of a comfort for me back then. I used to like watch a lot of his VODs for hours on end, like usually on like when I'm playing other games, I always have him on the background. It just feels like you're kind of like committed into like something bigger with him.
He became watching and obsessing, wanting to know what made Asmongold so good at the games he played.
I used his mannerisms to like bleed into like my own
Isn't Asmongold famously not good at most games though? Like his main thing is just Warcraft, but doesn't he kind of suck at everything else?
personal life, the idea of like becoming something more, like the idea that was implanted into my head, well, just becoming like, as I thought before, like someone like him, like well regarded or well like spoken, just like well accomplished, or like have like dreams of becoming the next Asmongold. Oh god, that's so fucking cringe of me to think about that, but
He started to copy his mannerisms because he thought it would make him a better player in the video game that he really loved, Star Wars The Old Republic. He started to take the game as seriously as Asmongold was. But he was also copying Asmongold's mannerisms out of game. He was saying whatever he wanted, he was becoming more aggressive, and he was really pushing himself to his limits, really dedicating himself to the craft of playing video games. He also became really obsessed with anti-woke content.
Anti-wokeism is such a simple concept. Like, oh, you used to believe that, oh, well, we just want better games instead of the wokeism stuff. And then you have, like, pretty much all these contents. And back then, it really worked. Back then, it just, like, you can just click immediately since you're, like, pretty much so attached to that person, you don't even want to go.
But throughout all of this, he felt that watching Asmongold was making him a worse person.
Yeah, I got some, like, exceptional highs, but I got into, like, exceptional lows.
It started to influence his non-gamer life, pushing away his friends and family.
Pretty much ruined relationships, or even...
And this is somebody who self-admittedly said they were modeling themselves both in-game and, well, intentionally in-game after Asmongold. But Asmongold is such a miserable person that it seeped into this guy's real life, and those rancid waves started emitting from his body to where they started ruining relationships. Because if you model your behavior after Asmongold, who, again, the only difference is he lucked out and got lots of money from what he's doing, you'll see what will actually happen to you in the real world. You will become a worse person. People will not want to be around you. There's a reason why I say Asmongold miserable is going to die alone. Because look at how he acts. The only thing that gives him any sort of anything is his money. If Asmongold had no money, I guarantee you his fans would not be defending him the way they do. Because he's just like them. There's nothing aspirational there. And the money he has, he lucked into. He's not some like business savant. He's not some like genius. He didn't create this wealth because of strategic planning. He got lucky. Right place, right time. Anyone else trying to emulate him, look what happens.
Close ones, like family, friends, or pretty much even like relationships with partners.
But it was hard to quit Asmongold because Asmon was good at WoW, so he should be good at life. At least that was Charlie's logic at the time.
I wish I could say complicated, but it was just out of like pure ignorance and just kind of like the unwillingness to just kind of change, because you kind of invest in a person for so long, you want to believe that this is all part of the movement, and you just like, and since you have such like a good opinion about him in your head, like pretty much all that goodwill from like all those other days, like back then where he used to be a prominent WoW player, you would pretty much carry over that goodwill to like any sense of variety he does.
But in 2023, Charlie's opinion on Asmon really starts to change, specifically because of anti-woke content. He realized that it was just kind of the same thing over and over and over.
Which, as you guys know, I have been saying that for the longest time now. People will eventually get bored of you bitching and moaning about the same things over and over and over and over again, especially if you are coming from a place where your ideology won out. Again, Trump is president. You can say slurs. Comedy's legal again on the internet. You can do all these things. Why are you still bitching about wokeness? Just don't fucking play it. Don't just watch it. Don't read it. But they can't. And like I said earlier, that shit's annoying. These people are annoying. And then once they get past all the look at the oohs and ahs, it's like, oh, you guys just do this. This is just what you do. You just complain all day. Asmongold's a millionaire. What is he complaining about? He has no real issues. He doesn't. Well, maybe like psychological for sure he does because where he lives. But like, he has no real issues. He's not going to worry about finances. He's not going to worry about any of those things. He doesn't have to make ends meet. but he's complaining as if he is struggling the same way as all these other people that watch him. And that disconnect is what they're getting at, what they're sensing. And that's kind of bringing them out of the moment to go, oh shit. Why is this rich asshole complaining about wokeness? Like, what does that do for him? They're not happy. They're miserable, empty people. And people are seeing that. It's like, oh my God. I'm glad this young guy saw him. Like, oh my God. He's actually a miserable loser.
Posts and videos were making less and less sense.
So 2023 was like the point I stopped watching him hardcore. It got boring, it got repetitive.
Asmongold's endless attacks on DEI, woke, and political low-hanging fruit just stopped being interesting.
The thing about anti-wokeism is that it's the perfect propaganda tool, because fear-mongering it's like the ultimate tool when it comes to like easily converting your thing to like, hey, like you used to be a WoW player, but now you're like a full-time political content creator. It's just honestly frustrating to me how I was just like led on for years and it just amounted to like absolutely nothing. I just couldn't do it anymore.
These days, he's sort of stopped watching Asmongold as much. Charlie still sees Asmongold because on Twitter, he's unavoidable. But now, he sees a sadness in his former idol.
He moved away from his like most lovable hobby, which was like World of Warcraft, but now he's just like pretty much miserable with like Twitter now.
Though Charlie has stopped watching Asmongold, he's found it difficult to get rid of all of his mannerisms entirely. Asmongold was a major figure to Charlie, someone he's still struggling to move past.
He's still been kind of my disease. All that grind mentality, as of recently, became deeply diminished. It begins to like pry open your like mental state. There's just like nowhere to go except the hole you kind of dug for yourself.
When it comes to Charlie, he makes me feel hopeful about the future of Asmongold viewers. Because when we kind of...
You used to watch Steven Crowder? Oh, we're going to talk about that after this. Holy shit. Holy shit. Two hands, or don't go anywhere.
Kind of look at what these people are going through. A lot of them, again, feel kind of hopeless. But Charlie was able to pull himself out of the sadness. He was able to see through the veneer.
I'm glad you're having a good time.
Kind of his like massive fucking specialty gimmick where it's like, oh well, I may be a degenerate, but at least I'm an honest degenerate, and that's all that matters. I could say the most like rancid, disgusting thing on the internet, but hey, like I'm being honest, guys.
Okay, you see how this is exactly what I was saying? Like, and this is coming from a former hardcore fan of his. It's not just my observations. It's this is what people are seeing. Like, yes, he just wants to be able to say he's rancid as fuck, but because he's being honest, it's okay. And it's like, it's not okay.
Like, and that's just the most dangerous tool when it comes to like a cult figure.
The problem with anti-woke content is it's very addictive. It's a new enemy each day. It's finding something that you personally despise to attack. And you know, if you can't see through that veneer, if you can't see through the bullshit, then you're just going to keep going into it more and more and more. And even though I'm feeling a bit under the weather, I still think it's important for us to see the sun one last time.
Everything sucks these days. Our politics is just feeding us mindless nonsense. Everybody hates. The world is getting so goddamn expensive, and it just seems like everything is going down. And Asmongold is kind of like the prophet of all of that. He is the crazy, screaming street preacher who is like, the world's ending and everything's gonna go bad. And you're like, yes, Asmongold, you're preaching to me. I understand it. Asmongold offers them a space online around other like-minded individuals who care about the same things they care about, like video games and why video games suck these days.
This is my outlook on it, is like, if you have something in a game, like, you need to make sure that that is like good immediately. Like the whole idea that like players, like, you're not going to have somebody that wants to spend more than like 10 minutes to have fun.
It's a sort of community.
That's such a dumb take though, by the way.
That they don't have in the real world. It's a space where they can feel more free and more fresh, and I feel Asmongold is preying on that. These people are lonely and have nowhere else to turn to, and Asmongold is offering them a space where they can feel what they want to feel, that they can say whatever bad words that the communities around them deem inappropriate. They want to feel like they're part of everything.
People don't have conversations as much anymore.
No, because they don't want to, and nobody thinks about anything anymore.
No,
That's the reason why.
You think you do, but you don't. People go to convenience over and over and over
Yeah.
again instead of doing the more difficult thing and having real interactions with people.
Asmongold isn't
God, how fucking prescient is that shit, right? Like, yeah. Like, listen to this again. Listen to what Asmongold says.
to feel like they're part of everything.
People don't have conversations as much anymore.
No, because they don't want to, and nobody thinks about anything anymore.
No,
Nobody, because they don't want to, and no one thinks about anything anymore. In this same video, you saw that he literally says that about himself. When people want to talk to him, no, I don't want to. Never, don't talk to me. Like, he is that person. He doesn't think. He doesn't have real conversations because that scares him.
That's the reason why.
You think you do, but you don't. People go to convenience over and over and over
Yeah.
again instead of doing the more difficult thing and having real interactions with people.
Asmongold isn't turning these people antisocial. They already are, but he's giving them an outlet, a place where they can feel like they don't need to grow, they don't need to change, they don't need to live outside their echo chamber. They can just continue being who they are, and
Yes.
that's where the problem lies.
He did an hour video yesterday of one of these woke games. It was called Relooted. I watched the video. It definitely just came across as low quality content.
Listen, guys, it's a hard game. There's a lot of graphics going on here.
I definitely have noticed I soured on his content, and that's whether it was the way he was acting, where he's just playing it up. I think because of the way he was playing it up, it felt like the mask had dropped, and that was his reality. And I'm like, oh, fuck, maybe he's an idiot.
Asmongold.
But you see, he was giving Asmongold the cover of he's just playing it up. He's playing a character. And once he realized, no, this is who he is as a person, he's like, oh, fuck. Damn. So all that dumb shit you were saying or doing before, that was really you? That wasn't you being hyperbolic or exaggerating. You're just a fucking moron?
Doesn't want you to improve. He doesn't want you to become less lonely and become a better person. Because if you do, you might stop watching him. I don't really
Yes.
think he thinks about this stuff. I think he knows at his heart of hearts that if these people start to get better and don't think that all of these like immigrants, women, DEI are the enemy, then they might try to leave. They might see Asmongold as the enemy.
I feel like nowadays nobody wants to critically think about anything. Nobody wants to have their own opinion about anything. Like, I've noticed this a lot.
Because in their real world, that's what people would tell them if they had
Man.
community. A lot of these men are isolated. They lack a support system.
I just want to say thank you for all the laughter and good times over these last 13 or so months. It's been a very hard time for me. My wife abandoned me and my 6-year-old son who had autism. So I've been dealing with very stressful, depressing times. It has been hard for me to keep a job because I'm taking care of my son by myself with no one helping anyone. And the nights have been very lonely after I put him down to bed. Thank you for providing me with laughter and distractions from the stress and also for making the nights not feel so lonely. I greatly appreciate Asmongold in chat. Thank you. Like, this is sad. Like, I don't know the reason why his wife abandoned him and his autistic son. I don't know if she visits or whatever, but to be like, my wife left me. Thank God for Asmongold. Like, your life is sad. And I know people are going to be like, but you're finding comfort in your stream. I get that. But we just went over the kind of content he puts out. So knowing the kind of content Asmongold puts out, knowing that he wants to be a funnel, or he knows he acts as a funnel to fucking Nick Fuentes, to say like the laughter and good times you've had with this content creator is sad, especially because you're only watching him because your wife left you. So like the guy Steven said in his video, these people are already in a bad way, and instead of finding someone who gets them better, they latch on to someone like Asmongold who allows them to stay bad.
That sort of keeps them from going down these deep, dark rabbit holes. I think after COVID, a lot of people became even more isolated and on
Wait,
these
what was
deep,
that?
dark rabbit holes.
Recently, I've been wondering, how does it feel there in your chair? I've always been feeling a little bit lonely playing computers while speaking to all my online friends playing with me, having all the fun in the world. I've been asking myself why I feel lonely. I have fun. I have community, I have appreciation, but still, when I switch off my computer, all I see is myself in reflection of my display, with all my losses and wins throughout my life, which brought me here through all the lows and happiness. I was wondering, how do you feel when you switch off the stream and succumb to external silence? Like the fact that he's saying that this person is profoundly sad, and he's saying that sadness led me here. Like I cannot tell, I cannot begin to tell you how much of a self-report this is on him and an indictment it is on most of Asmongold's audience. They are sad, broken people at one of the lowest points in their lives. And then that's when they come to him. They're not well adjusted. They're sad, broken people.
I think after COVID, a lot of people became even more isolated and unaware of what was going to happen to them. And they went down deep, dark rabbit holes, blaming all of these other issues for their problems, rather than...
Don't we all do that? The thing is, though, when you seek something out when you're in a bad place, it's temporarily, right? It's usually temporary because it's not really good for you. What we seek is that immediate gratification. I keep saying that. Gratification that let the hurt stop. But the thing is, the things that we mostly seek out aren't good for us. You have broke up with somebody. I'm going to go hook up with the next person I see. I'm going to drink away my problem. These aren't good coping mechanisms, which is why people usually, after a while, seek help for that, whether on their own or by someone's assistance. You see therapists, you build community. Having an online community is great, but an online community does not replace a real community. That's what these people are missing out on. They don't have a real sense of community. And they can't even see that modeled for them because the content creator they watch is miserable and lonely. He does not interact with people. Like most other content creators, at least they could be like, yeah, Hassan went on the stream with Carolyn and Will Neff, and they had his podcast together, and he has Austin and Cutie Cinderella, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Or like, here's the AMP crew, and they all hang out together, or they look like they're having fun. Like they don't even get the illusion of, look how much fun it must be to hang out with people. Because the person that they watch sits in a dark room all day with roaches. I did read your past few messages, Asmodeus. That's what I'm responding to. Like, yes, we all do that, but we stop. For the most part, we stop. If you continuously do it, you are going to self-harm. If you drink or take drugs to overcome the pain you're having, that is not a good coping mechanism. But if everyone around you is telling you that's good and awesome, you'll continuously do it. These people don't have community, and so they sought out somebody who made them feel better. But the person they sought out was Asmongold. And so they're watching him and feeling better because probably subconsciously they realize he's just as bad as them or worse, and so that makes them feel better. It's no different than you having a bad day and going like, listen up this guy, right? That's what it is. But now you take that to an extreme where it's, I'm not going to improve myself or my situation because I'm not this guy who's in a worse spot than me. So you stay here. Like you saw in this video, when people started becoming more well-adjusted, they stopped watching him.
What was actually causing them, which was their isolation, loneliness, and lack of human communication. We as people need other people in order to feel whole. Human society was born out of a need to congregate. And when that community is taken away and completely disregarded, we sort of lose our sense of identity. We lose who we are. And when someone offers that sort of sense of community, it becomes even more important. Influencers give online individuals
That's how cults work, by the way.
a community. And Asmongold is offering them a different sort of community, one that isn't more politically correct. Remember a time when you could be on Xbox and say a whole bunch of slurs? Asmongold offers you that space. And there's a Discord where you can hang out and talk your shit.
The Discord is basically a shit post. It doesn't really have like anything to do with the general like Asmongold stuff. It's just like a little hangout place.
You can be exactly who you want to be, even if that person is, you know, kind of gross. You don't need to improve. You don't need to get better. You don't need to be a happier person, because you can be an Asmongold viewer. You can be part of the club. And now for something that I hope doesn't make too many Asmongold viewers uncomfortable. And I'm gonna go touch some grass.
I like that. That's pretty good.